Mm-hmm. Look at all the
What
stuff we
is
have to
it?
discuss. The
I don't
study.
get it. This room is in the original building plans for the mansion, but nowadays it's some big secret?
It's not a secret to everybody. At least one other person still knows about this room.
The way the notebook was left out on the table makes me think it's someone who has the room all to themselves.
Whoever it was, they left more than just the notebook. There's a whole design project on this pinboard. Feels like someone put quite a bit of effort into it.
It's a shame there are things missing from it. I'm betting it'd make more sense if we could see it all together.
That might not be impossible, you know.
One, two, three. I'm honestly not sure what that is. Oh, it's here. It's Hawkshaw.
The painting from Freya's room and those sketches. Did Freya design Detective Hawkshaw's clothes? What kind of sense does that make?
I don't think that's why Freya made that painting, but it may have been why somebody took a photo of it to use as reference. And as for those sketches of Hawkshaw, I don't think Freya actually drew them. It was somebody else. Someone with less of a talent for art.
Doesn't exactly narrow it down. Should we go ask Detective Hawkshaw about all this?
I'm not sure. I still don't know what's really going on.
Was someone trying to hide it? From us?
I don't know, but it looks incomplete to me. I want to know what happened to the rest of it. Where are the other parts?
We have them.
We found them already.
So this is where this goes.
I think that might attach the crossbow, but not this part of the crossbow.
Alright. The small lens goes there. And then here's where the reel goes. And then this is the... Oh, it's up here. The metal rod. There you have it. Your murder weapon.
What do you make of it?
Not sure. Let's keep an open mind.
You don't think the crossbow is the murder weapon?
Oh no, the crossbow is definitely the murder weapon. But that doesn't mean we've solved the mystery.
Nope.
You know, in any normal room, this thing would be my main concern. In here, though, it barely makes the top 3. Dragon?
Snake?
Worm?
That's the one.
There you go.
Do those look like scratch marks to you? On the glass?
Yeah, they're on the inside.
Oh. That's mildly terrifying. There's also something that I'm missing.
Who are all the people in this photo?
Not sure, but it looks like someone didn't like them very much. Their eyes have all been crossed out.
Photo in a study in a wooden frame. It's dusty and looks several years old. A brass plaque at the base of the frame reads, "The Ambassadors of Misted Mansion." The photo shows 2 women and 3 men wearing a variety of different styles of clothing. All 5 people have had their faces crudely covered with black ink. The Ambassadors of Misted Mansion. Clearly this person was after them. And one of these people, this almost looks like Poppy. Maybe Poppy was the mark. And they thought, because Poppy looked so different, that it was Freya. Wait a minute. Wait, maybe they didn't mean to get her. Because that gramophone, which I am assuming is the vessel for the crossbow, that was Poppy's, a gift from her mother. I think Poppy was the intended mark and they got Freya instead. I know I used to think it was Flora, but based on the new evidence, this looks like Poppy.
That photo is important. I'm sure of it.
I know you're right.
Another photograph.
Their faces are all crossed out with some kind of black ink.
That's weird.
Oh, you think so?
No, I mean, something I just realized. Sally, did we meet any of these people here at Tangle Tower?
We did.
Well, the woman on the left looks a little like Poppy, but her style is way different. And at first I thought the guy on the top right was Felix, but now that I look at it, I don't think it is him.
Oh boy, I think we're almost there. The murder.
Time to solve this.
Alright, let me look at the case file real quick. Poppy does look different, but that's how she used to look. This is how she used to look. That's gotta be her. And I don't think this is Felix, question mark? Ambassadors of Misted Mansion. No, my kitty. She wants attention, but I'm busy solving a murder.
All right, break out the notebook. Time to put it all together.
Let's
All
start
right,
with
here we
this.
go.
It's
Crack,
an
crack.
arrow for the crossbow, and it matches Freya's wound. It's the murder weapon. I'm sure of it.
Despite the fact it doesn't
Murder.
have any blood on it, and it wasn't found anywhere near the crime scene.
Yep.
It was cleaned, then it was hidden. I don't think anybody expected us to get down to that room at the bottom of the lake.
Okay, so Freya was shot by a crossbow. Where was it fired from?
It was fired from above Freya. When she fell over.
It was fired from above Freya.
Above, huh?
Yeah, our diagram doesn't show everything. Let's add in the rest of the crime scene.
The attic.
Perfect hiding place. We even found a part of the murder weapon up there. The reel was used to pull the arrow
Murder.
back up through the crack in the floorboards.
Explains why we never found a weapon at the crime scene, I guess.
The murderer must have dropped the reel in the attic. I'm guessing they were in a hurry to escape.
Wait. The arrow was fired through the crack in the floorboards?
Yeah, it's directly above where Freya was found lying on her back.
Nope. Doesn't add up. It would have missed her if she was still standing up by the painting.
Ah, right.
Unless...
She wasn't standing. Freya was already lying on her back.
Freya was already lying on her back before the arrow was fired.
I think so too.
She'd fallen unconscious.
She'd fallen unconscious.
Something in the room caused Freya to fall unconscious.
The gramophone.
The gramophone.
Right.
But the gramophone by itself can't do that.
There was something in the gramophone. See, now they're going to kind of hold my hand a little bit on this and try and lead me to the correct answer, but it's still up to me to figure out what the correct answer is. So, I don't think it was the music being played. I think there was something in the gramophone that caused the gramophone and all of the paints to crack.
There was
Gas
something
won't
in the
crack
gramophone.
a gramophone.
Mm-hmm. Something small.
Something in the gramophone. We already know it has to be small. I don't think it's any of this stuff. What was in the gramophone? I I don't think it was the damaged tape. The cracked tape was in it. But there was something else in there that knocked out both Flora and Freya. Something that can amplify sound. The golden beetle. The golden beetle emits a high sound, a high pitch. It fends off predators with a loud hiss, records of over 95 decibels. If you amplify that sound...
Pointer's research says it can emit an incredibly loud hiss when it feels threatened. Poppy and Fitz both said they heard a loud noise around the time of the murder. Neither
they didn't
of
know
them
what it was.
had any idea what it was.
This seems a little far-fetched. Is it really loud enough to knock someone out?
No, I don't think so, not by itself. But don't forget, it was being amplified by the shape of the gramophone. Now, I don't think we're purely talking about volume either. It might just be a particular type of frequency.
This is getting kinda scientific. Since when do you know anything about the effects of weaponized audio frequency?
I don't, but I think someone else does. Do you remember that statue we found in the music room? The hornet's playing. It's a pretty similar shape to the one on the gramophone. That broken glass isn't there on accident. This is someone's science experiment.
They also
Thinking
mention it in the
about
notes.
Pointer said he saw Flora was knocked out too. I guess they were both in range of the noise, although Pointer might have been lying.
Personally, I think he was telling the truth about that. It's pretty clear a powerful frequency did pass through Flora's tower. Caused quite a bit of damage too.
It cracked the paints. What was affected by the powerful frequency? The gramophone was, and so were the paints.
Those cracks didn't appear out of nowhere. Freya's paints, the pink cassette tape, and the gramophone itself, they all sustained similar damage while they were in that room.
That's some seriously powerful vibration, enough to crack metal, enough to knock someone out all the way across a room.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't get. If the frequency was so powerful and had such a big range, how did the murderer pull it off? Wouldn't they have been in range too? Think about it. They can't
They
have
were
been much
wearing
further away from
the
gramophone than
earmuffs.
Flora was.
They protected themselves
They protected themselves.
How?
with the earmuffs. A pair of earmuffs have been placed on the head of the statue. Poppy found the earmuffs and placed them on the statue so Fitz would find them. They belonged to Fitz, but they went missing.
These are some pretty heavy-duty earmuffs. I think they'd be enough to block out the sound.
Right. Let's go over everything from the start. 1. Freya is painting Flora's portrait. They're listening to music on the gramophone.
2. The murderer is hiding in the attic, wearing earmuffs.
3. The golden beetle starts to emit its hissing noise.
Hold on. How did it know?
The beetle?
Yeah, what triggered it at that particular moment? Pointer's research said it makes the noise when it feels threatened.
I'm not sure. Maybe something in the music?
Maybe.
4. Freya and Flora are both knocked unconscious by the vibrations. Freya lands on her back. She drops the brush and palette by her side.
5. The murderer fires the crossbow directly downwards.
6. The arrow is pulled back up on the reel.
7. The murderer leaves the attic, presumably.
8. The door is kicked down. Fitz and Poppy enter the room.
Both innocent.
That's it. There's something bothering me.
What?
I just want to check something. Let's go back to the crime scene.
Let's. Ooh, that is a very red question mark. Flora's tower. Oh. Oh, that's right. It's pitch black out now. I forgot. So, the pool of blood is here, but how did the I still don't know how the blood got in the jar.
The answer is in the painting. I'm sure of it.
Freya was unable... Freya added the blood to the painting herself. The red paint was swapped out with blood. Flora's not holding a knife. She's holding a feather.
Freya, did you leave us a clue?
It was discovered to be blood, not paint. The missing clue.
So what's bothering you?
Something that's not here. The thing we didn't find. We know she was holding it during the painting.
Flora's ink dip feather?
It was here. In this room. Where'd it go?
It was incinerated. We found it somewhere else.
We found it somewhere else.
It's right here. There's the feather.
We were a little too late to save it.
So it was stolen from the crime scene. And ended up in the incinerator down in the study.
Someone wanted to destroy it, I guess.
But how? How was it stolen from up here in Flora's tower?
Presumably, Flora dropped it when she fell unconscious.
Yeah, and then what? The murderer couldn't have
How did they
stolen
retrieve
if they
it?
were up in the attic.
So the question is, how could they steal something from a room they weren't able to access? The final clue about the crime scene. Freya left it for us right here.
Flora left it. The final clue. Flora left it. It's in the unfinished painting.
It's in the unfinished painting. It's not quite a photo, but still, it's an image of the crime scene recorded just before the murder. If only she'd finished it. Then I could be totally sure.
It's true she never finished it. But she did intend to finish it.
Meaning?
We know more about the painting than what Freya actually got down on the canvas.
Whoa, how did Freya show us her intention for the painting? A pot's missing. There's only one. I don't think it's like shown anywhere else. But there's a pot missing from the painting. Case file. It's... I don't know if the portrait itself is the correct answer, but in the picture there's two pots. But there's only one there. I'm just gonna use it.
That's not it.
Damn it. Freya shows her intentions for the painting. How did Freya show us her intentions for the painting? Ooh, I gotta think about this one. How did Freya show us her intentions for the painting? Oh, the brush and palette.
Freya prepared all the colors she was going to need before she started painting.
Mm-hmm. isn't actually paint because it's... was added by the murderer. Because the ink dip feather wait. Maybe she didn't have the feather at all. She didn't have the feather and Freya painted it on there. Oh no. I think the feather is not the murder weapon. I like the logic that's going through my brain that says that the blood isn't paint because the ink dip feather wasn't actually there. That's why she used blood, because she never intended to use red. Maybe Freya did lose it.
The blood isn't actually
it's
paint
not right.
because the ink dip feather, which Freya had lost. Nope.
Oh, it's way off. Brown and gray paint. This one's got me a bit stumped. A lot of these aren't like the end of sentences. Wait, there's no... There's only so many things you can focus on, which helps a bit. It's not even like I was off by one thing. It's not the murder weapon. We already know what that is.
Blood on the brush isn't actually paint because the ink dip feather dropped by the ink dip bird. That's not right.
It's not even close. She did. Okay, so now I'm solid on these two based on this. Did Freya plan to paint something in the bottom right corner? She did. She was going to put a plant there. The yellow paint was a mistake by Freya because of a sketch of something sitting in the window. Oh, it's going to be used to paint. Maybe?
Brown and gray paint was going to be used to paint this sketch of something sitting in the window. Almost. Maybe just change.
It's the blood.
The blood was going
It's
to
not
be
the
used
blood.
to paint. Almost. Maybe just change. Blood on the brush was going to be used to paint.
It's still not right.
Sketch of something sitting in the window. Almost. Maybe just.
But it's... I think it's this here, because she's told me to change one thing, and this is the thing that I've used.
The yellow paint was going to be used to paint this sketch of something sitting in the window.
Something in the window. Oh.
The beetle. I assume it'd be the beetle. Wait, something's sitting in the window. Was it a bird? Was it this bird? Oh. Oh.
There she is. Our little thief.
She
How
took
long
the
has it
feather.
been there? Did it hear the whole conversation?
She did. But she's
Oh.
a very good listener. Well now, I think this has quite served its purpose, don't you?
Penelope.
Why did you...
It's Penelope, if you don't mind. But before we begin, isn't there a certain formality demanding our attention?
It would probably be best to... Something sturdy to tie her hands with. I don't have anything. Oh, I do.
Lovely. Now, tell me, what was it that drove you this far? I'm ever so curious.
Justice for Freya. She did die.
Justice for Freya.
Is that right? Interesting.
Why did you do it, Penny? What did Freya do to you?
Absolutely nothing.
So, what? You just hated her indiscriminately?
Freya Fellow was an inspiration to us all. She was possessed of a great energy. The volition to create something from nothing. The willpower to walk beyond her boundaries. She was truly free. Everything I couldn't be.
You know what? I just realized I actually have no idea who Penelope Pointer really is.
Weird, isn't it? Considering we've met her, what is it, 3 times now?
Exactly. How do we know this one isn't a disguise too?
You
She's-
think you've already hollowed us out, don't you? Only a few short hours at Tangle Tower, and you feel like you've got everyone sussed. Unearthed every single one of our secrets. Nothing but bullet points for your notebook.
No, I'm just trying to
Go
figure out who
on,
killed Freya.
indulge me. What does it say in your notes about Penelope Pointer?
She's a murderer.
I suppose I can't argue with that, can I?
Penny, we only know what you choose to tell us, so why not help us out?
Very well. Penelope Pointer is actually not very important at all. She pales in comparison to those who came before her and to those that came after. Living at Tangle Tower, it is very difficult to attain the levels of self-realization you probably take for granted.
You sure this is a Tangle Tower thing, and not a you thing?
Perhaps you didn't notice. Not one of them is happy, not one.
So why stay? Why not just leave?
I thought she did leave. Penny, you said you traveled, didn't you?
I did. Many times I've walked away. It did not help me. You saw the family tree hanging in the grand hall, did you not?
Yeah, it lists a bunch of people who don't live here anymore.
A bunch of people who don't live here anymore. I couldn't have put it better myself. My mother, for one. My father, too. The other 2 Remingtons. Poppy's mother, Primrose. And her brother, Richard.
And Fitz's father.
That's 5. 5 people that might have lived here, but don't.
And that was the first question I wanted answered.
You wanted to know where they'd all gone?
More than that, I wanted to know if I belonged with them. I have no place here. Not among the Fellows, the Remingtons, or the Pointers. But I felt there must be a reason why everyone else left. Some common purpose they all shared. Perhaps it could be my purpose, too.
So, what did you actually do about it?
Nothing I could do, at first. Nobody would tell me anything. The more questions I asked, the fewer answers I got. Then, I found it. I was 19. Same age Freya is now.
Found what?
The study.
The study. The one hidden in the middle of the house. It's right next to a bedroom.
I'd hear voices at night. Deep ones. And the strangest thing, the wall behind my bed would get incredibly hot. For hours on end. The paint would peel. Wallpaper wouldn't stay up. I thought I was cursed. I thought it was something trying to break through. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. I found my way in the same way you did. Once you know it's there, it's simple.
So,
Yeah.
you got into the study and found the incinerator. That must have been a relief, right?
It was still warm when I found it.
You mean
Hey.
someone else was using it?
I looked inside. Let's see how thorough you've been. Tell me, do you know what a misted is?
Misted?
Misted, sure, yeah.
Mistids? Sure, yeah.
You're more observant than I thought.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
It's a collective
Grimoire.
term from before my time. Birds, insects, amphibians, anything living off the lake water. The mutation can take several generations, or it can happen overnight.
Wait, mistids. Like cryptids. Like Bigfoot or whatever.
A little egregious, isn't it? I suspect that was an intentional parallel. The main difference being mistids are perfectly real. They're just kept secret. Or at least, that was the original plan. As it happened, some got out. Quite a few got out.
How do you know all this?
When I entered the study at 19, I found a single object that rather changed my life. Something which answered my questions while at once creating all new ones.
In the study? This? The group photo, I'd imagine? That answered her questions. The ambassadors of Misted Mansion. Something Penny found in the study that answered her questions. I don't think it's the secret research.
The 5 missing family members standing together as a single unit.
It's her
calling
mother.
themselves The ambassadors of Misted Mansion.
So, the house was renamed from Mystic
Penny's
Mansion
mother.
to
Her
Tangle
Papa's
Tower?
mother.
And rightly so. The age of Misted Mansion is long past. When I looked inside the incinerator on my first visit to the study, I found nothing but ash. The afterimage of a bygone era, denied to me in its entirety. The study, the room at the bottom of the lake itself. All empty shells. I felt my only hope lay with the ambassadors. If I could find them, maybe they'd share the family history that Flora and the others were trying so hard to forget.
How did you track them down?
It was tough. They'd taken almost everything. Books, maps, charts, the creatures themselves, all lost, taken away or destroyed. But I got lucky. I got a lead. I found one, and he led me to the rest.
And? What happened? Why'd you paint out all their faces?
They didn't help you either, did they?
19-year-old me had imagined they'd all left with a mission, a unified purpose, but they hadn't. They were, in fact, every bit as fractured as the people that still live here. Most of them had left tracking escaped mystics. Some claimed to be researchers, others little more than hunters. All 5 completely useless to me.
Even your own parents?
Eventually, I returned to Tangle Tower.
They
I
did
had
leave
nowhere
her
else
here.
to go. I considered giving up, but instead, I made a decision.
A lowly entomologist.
There was only one person at Tangle Tower still of interest to me. My dear Uncle Pointer had suddenly made a show of taking up astronomy. A fairly superficial charade. I don't think many people were fooled by it. But I knew it wasn't just a falsehood. It was a mask. Pointer had found something from the era of Misted Mansion.
The golden beetle. Maybe? It's not a misted, though. What was it that Professor Pointer found from the era of Misted Mansion? It's the beetle. The beetle's... Well... 3. Maybe not. Took my misted friend to the music room for experiments. It worked. Okay. So the beetle is a misted.
So where did he get the beetle?
I cannot be sure, but I theorize that he received it in the post.
In the post? From who?
Who can say?
By the mail.
Someone outside Tangle Tower. But the thought that he would be in contact with such a person, all that time, I decided to take what was owed to me.
So you stole it.
Stealing the beetle turned out to be only the first step. Upon realizing it was gone, Pointer made little effort to disguise his frustration. I asked what was bothering him. He foresaw no risk in sharing a little of the truth with his niece. He told me he'd lost a rare treasure, something he'd been keeping safe. I suggested, innocently, that perhaps it was not lost. Perhaps it had been stolen. He was very ready to believe he'd been the victim of theft. When I offered to call in a private detective, he jumped on the idea. She arrived the next day. Hawkshaw prides herself on her punctuality, as you know.
Why, though? Why go
Yeah.
through all that? The name, the costume, and
The charade.
everything?
It's somewhat sad to admit, but I had little use left for Penny Pointer as she was. Hawkshaw afforded me new advantages, opportunities.
But didn't you have to pretend to be working for Professor Pointer?
Well, that was one of the advantages. Pointer was in such a desperate state, he was finally willing to share some of his secrets. On the second day, Hawkshaw explained she needed to be able to search the secret laboratory. Pointer gave in and gave me the code for the harp statue. Reluctantly, but still.
So, you stole Pointer's research?
I would have done, if I'd found anything worth stealing. But he had made remarkably little progress, barely scratching the surface of the beetle's true mystery.
Which is?
It carries an exoskeleton approximately 90% identical to gold. But it's not the 90% I'm interested in.
It's the 10.
Did you ever question what exactly makes the water here so unique? Before Misted Mansion was built over the lake, before the lake was even a lake, Lord Remington and his wife built a small structure here, a research station, supposedly. Fast forward 2 or 3 generations, and as you saw for yourself, it's been mostly cleared out.
The ambassadors took everything when they left.
And everything they didn't take was burned in the incinerator. However, possessing additional insight, I found something the others had missed. It's not much, but I have what I need.
So, why isn't this the end of the story? Why did you stay? Why did you kill Freya?
The will of Freya Fellow. She knew. She knew. This is a painting of Hawkshaw. It's really hard to tell, but it's a painting of Hawkshaw. The will of Freya Fellow.
Simply put, Freya was too good for me. It's my fault. I pushed her over the edge, unknowingly, but still, I take the blame.
What are you talking about?
Did you know I based the design for Hawkshaw on something Freya painted?
Mm-hmm. This.
That's right. I had assumed it was purely abstract. I just thought it had a good energy. I later discovered it was a figure of some kind, something from Freya's recurring nightmare. For all her vitality, I think Freya was probably the most troubled of all of us. She was desperate to leave Tangle Tower, but she couldn't just walk away. For quite some time, she'd been trying to break into Pointer's laboratory. Freya and her friends were halfway through deciphering those symbols on the harp statue, I believe.
Why did she care about getting into Pointer's lab?
That's exactly what I wondered. At first, I thought perhaps she just wanted to free the beetles. She has a fondness for them. What Pointer was doing upset her significantly. But in fact, I think it was something else. I think she wanted to free Fiona. The real reason Freya was unable to leave Tangle Tower is that she could not get Fiona to agree to come with her. We're now firmly in the realm of speculation, but I think Freya felt that exposing the darker secrets of Tangle Tower, not just to the rest of the family, but to the world, would compromise all 3 families, and perhaps, somehow, free Fiona from the shackles of her inheritance. That was her plan anyway, but something happened before Freya could find her way into Pointer's laboratory.
She found her way into your study, found your notes, found that photograph. I'm willing to bet she put it all together quicker than we did.
So she worked out what had happened to the 5 ambassadors. Specifically, what you'd done to them when they refused to help you.
Eh.
Freya had made a promise to paint Flora as a birthday gift, a parting gift no less. She'd be in a locked room, several hours away from her friends. It was my best chance.
But
Several
why
hours.
hide in the attic? And why bother with the beetle at all?
The beetle in the gramophone wasn't for Freya. It was for Flora. She didn't deserve to be involved. She suffered enough. I couldn't get Flora out of the room, but if she could be unconscious, then she wouldn't have to witness anything.
Why the knife? The illusion of the painted knife with the blood.
That was for Fiona. And Poppy too, I suppose. Gave them something to focus on.
You mean it distracted them while you made your escape?
It helped them cope. The very idea of something abstract, something supernatural. I believe it made things marginally less painful for them, initially. Worked on you, too.
It didn't have to happen at all, jeepers.
So why are you still here?
She
Why not
killed her to
take your
keep her
first
quiet.
chance and leave?
Well, I've been waiting for an opportunity to get my beetle back. I'd really rather not leave without it.
Wait, it's still here?
It's still inside the gramophone.
Oh. Oh, my ears. Oh. Welp. Huh. Lake's Edge. Yep. She knocked us out, took our boat.
What's going on?
Poppy, they are both awake.
We're stuck at Tangle
I
Tower
can
forever.
see.
You two all right?
My head hurts. What happened to us?
You were both unconscious. 14 minutes by my count.
Really?
You're both fine. No injuries.
Was it the beetle? In the gramophone? I heard it through the ceiling in my room.
The exact same sound we heard before the murder.
I guess it must have been.
So how did we get down here? What happened to Penny?
Fit saved both of you, obviously.
When I reached Flora's tower, you were both unconscious, and Penny was crouched down beside you. She had her crossbow on her. But who knows? She may have just been checking you were both asleep.
Did you know that she was the murderer?
Poppy and Fifi suspected her. Apparently, they were pretty close to solving it themselves.
Fitz did not want to believe us, because he liked Penny. A lot.
Oh.
But what happened? Fitz, what did she do when she saw you?
She jumped out the window.
What? Did she survive?
She did.
I heard something land in the garden outside my room, but by the time I got out there to check, she was already gone.
Hang on. Poppy, why do you have Penny's hat bird?
She left him behind. I found him sitting on the floor in the aviary, all by himself. Poor little thing. The mean lady didn't care about you at all, did she? No, she didn't.
I apologize. Poppy seems to be under the illusion that the bird can understand human language.
So, Penny got away.
I'm afraid she did.
We had suspected she might try to escape. I was stationed here by the lake's edge. I proved to be an ineffective guard. She took the boat.
Did she take the beetle with her?
Nope,
How do you know?
because it's right here.
It was still in the gramophone. I guess I scared her off before she had a chance to take it.
Poppy, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to give it back to your father?
No, I'm not. It doesn't belong to anyone. So, I'm going to put it on the ground and never bother it again. I think that's what she would have wanted.
Aw. Aw. I mean, so this Detective Grimoire series game also ended kind of like Detective Grimoire did, wherein it's kind of open-ended. Like, we figured out who it was, and I'm pretty sure we figured out who it was in the first game, but I played that game a long time ago. But I think that I don't think he got away, perhaps? But it was still, like, it still had a to be continued feel to it. I love that this beetle's just, like, chilling. I love this game. I think that the explanation was a little convoluted. Penny had a lot to say at the end. A lot to say. Bye, little beetle. To never come back to Tangle Tower. It is not for you. But yeah, overall, I'd say this is a great game. I do love the Detective Grimoire games. Voice acting was amazing. I liked the art. I liked just about everything about it. Like, it was a lot of listening to explanations, but that's what mysteries are. You're trying to solve the mystery. So, I mean, it's to be expected. I feel like there was no justice at the end, which makes me a little sad, but I'm hoping that eventually there will be justice in another game, because I would definitely love to see another game. This one was a bit long, so was the last one. I didn't realize, I knew we were close, and I didn't want to stop, but I'm definitely, now that I'm looking at the amount of time it took, I'm going to chop this part into 2. Because I'm looking at 2 hours with some cuts, because it took me a while to figure some things out. But yeah, like, I hope you enjoyed that game. I did. I bought it, I think, full price, which I never do. I never buy games full price, because that's how much I liked the Detective Grimoire games. And I hope that they make more, and I will definitely play them if they do. I hope you enjoyed watching this, if you stuck it out to the end, and I love you to death. Thank you for coming by, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, bye.